look normal, I think, with light hair and a dimple on one side. It's my name that isn't normal, but that can be seen on the outside. Mom and Dad named me Theobald Roderick. They regretted it afterwards. It's not a good idea to give a small baby such a big name, but what's done is done. I've now been called Theobald Roderick Danielson Ekzarh for 9 years. That's my whole life. Luckily, everyone calls me Trilly. Waffles. Waffles with chocolate topping, waffles with maple syrup, waffles with ice cream. Mikiti? No. Waffles. Everyone has at least one warm memory from their childhood. The smell of mikiti, pancakes or waffles, spreading around our homes, making our saliva build up. The fuzzy and homey feeling of something so small, yet meaning the whole world to us. The book Adventures with Waffles by Maria Parr brings me back to my childhood, and in the carefree kid Trilly, I see myself. One day, we turned the house into a fortress. Grandpa was my commander. We built defenses in front of all the doors to the house so the thieves would never get in. Then, Grandpa suggested inviting Auntie Granny around for a cup of coffee. Auntie Granny's fat and old and is Grandpa's big sister. She lives a few miles away and comes to visit us every Christmas, Easter, and so on. I felt all warm inside whenever I saw her. She always smiles. People say that lots of things are the best in the world, but Auntie Granny's waffles really are the best. It's difficult to know when winter is on the way because it comes so quietly. In the afternoon, I got to go with Dad to Auntie Granny's. She wasn't looking forward to the snow coming because she can't travel with the wave. She's too old. Auntie Granny told stories while Dad and I ate waffles. They were even better than usual since it was so cold outside. I sat on the sofa, snuggled up by Auntie Granny, and was so happy that it almost hurt. Auntie Granny has the biggest and warmest heart I know of. There's only one thing wrong with her, and that's her knitting. She always gives us knitted things for Christmas. Before we left, I promised to come back when the snow arrived. I could do the shoveling even though it was boring. Then, Auntie Granny gave me a nice wrinkly Auntie Granny hug and promised me a stack of waffles whether I did the shoveling or not. On Sunday, the snow came. And on Sunday, Auntie Granny died. It was Mom who woke me and told me. Something inside me fell to pieces. I stayed lying on my pillow while Mom stroked my hair. It was a strange day. Even Dad and Grandpa cried. That was the worst part. The whole world had been changed because there was no Auntie Granny anymore. Eventually, I went over to the barn where I lay down. My thoughts flew around like snowflakes. Yesterday, Auntie Granny had been just as alive as me. And today she was completely dead. Death is almost like snow. You don't know when it's going to come, even if it tends to come in winter. You can see her one last time if you like, said Mom. That Tuesday I got to see Auntie Granny. I was dreading it. She looked like she was sleeping. I almost thought she was going to open her eyes. I stood there for a long time watching her eyelids. They didn't move. Before we left, I touched her hand. She was cold, almost like snow. Now Auntie Granny's in heaven, Mom said when we came home. Christmas came that year too, but everything was different since Auntie Granny wasn't there with us. Nobody was sitting at her place at the table. Nobody sang in a high-pitched old lady's voice when we went around the Christmas tree. And I didn't receive any knitted jumpers. Imagine being sad about that. Every morning, I stood at my window looking out. Green shoots were appearing and spring was getting closer. Grandpa chatted with me later that evening. Are you missing Auntie Granny today? I asked. Maybe a little, Grandpa answered. I stood there, looking at him for a while. I wanted to give Grandpa all the good things in the whole world, and all at once I knew what to do. Quietly, I crept away to Grandpa's flat, which was half dark and peaceful. I clambered up onto the kitchen counter and stretched as high as I could, and there it was! Right up on top of the kitchen cupboard. Auntie Granny's waffle iron! I put it on the counter and went into Grandpa's bedroom. Inside his prayer book was a crumpled, faded piece of paper. Waffle hearts threaded at the top. In old lady handwriting. That was what Auntie Granny's waffles were called. I'm not very good at baking, but I followed the recipe exactly. And soon, when I had cooked almost all the mixture, Grandpa came in. He was completely flabbergasted to see what I was doing. Surprise! I shouted loudly. And then, Grandpa and I ate waffle hearts for the first time since Auntie Granny had died. I'm sure that she was smiling down on us from heaven. Grandpa smiled too. After 7 rounds of waffles, Grandpa fell asleep in his chair. I laid a blanket over him and crept out. I will never forget the night that I made waffle hearts for Grandpa. Thank you.